What's going on, my friends? Happy Thirsty Thursday to you. We're going to have some fun today. Getting good at the timing here. Give me some credit. No victory laps here, not yet. But they are incoming, and you know it's true. Boy gets this stuff right, and you know that. That's why you're watching. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a few things today. We're going to look at mortgage rate chart, seeing some recovery there, some of these record rent increases, sending people off a ledge. I actually took a call from someone on this. I'll tell you that story. Oil is in basically free fall. This is good for inflation, but it's also signaling sort of a bad sign for the global economy. Remember, oil is the ultimate truth serum. It's a market that's open, 24/7, basically. And I think it is actually open 24/7. The futures market for oil is open 24/7, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. And so it's this market that's open all the time. It affects everyone, every country, all over the place. And it's something that is sort of self-regulating. We've talked about that before, why I like to swing trade it, because when it goes up too much, then demand decreases and the price comes down. When it goes down too much, demand increases, the price goes up. It's a really, really nice thing, security to play with in that regard. But so we've got that going on. We'll talk about that in more detail. We got jobless claims in at 260K for the week. Not great, but we'll dial in, to that as well. We're going to be honest with ourselves about everything here. This isn't a real estate bullish channel. For people who think it is, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is a truth channel. We talk about the truth. We face it head on, whatever it is, but we don't lie to ourselves. We don't let our bias get in the way of reality. Bank of England. Oh, the Bank of England, yeah. They are launching a huge interest rate hike. Did it, actually. And they predict a lengthy recession. They expect to get inflation squared away by 2025. So we'll talk about that quickly as well. Questions about whether we're in a recession or not. We are. And then I've got one more for you. So let's take a look. We got 20 basis points back today. If you recall, a couple days ago, I was in the studio shooting yesterday. Could not make a video today, but have some awesome videos that'll be coming out probably tomorrow and then throughout next week. Dripping on you some really good stuff, in studio interviews, terrific guests, just really, really golden stuff. Remember when I was talking about just sort of the overall trend, like we really want to see that hold, like that's key. We have a very nice channel here. It looks really good. It's looked good for a while. That's why I wasn't too bothered by the 85 basis point drop that we experienced just the other day, although I didn't love it. This was no fun. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't like, oh, okay, well, we lost key support. We got out of bounds. Remember, this is it for interest rates. This is the whole thing. This chart is it. This is it. This tells you everything. And we want to see prices going higher like this. Remember, prices of bonds going up like this, mortgage-backed securities, means rates go down. So we want to see this going in the upward direction. That's exactly what it's doing. And it's doing it in a very healthy way, not huge run-ups. And it's correcting inside this channel. It's all very, very good. So the good news is, we held the line here and popped back up a little bit. Have not gotten all the ground back yet, but got most of it. So rates got a lot worse a couple days ago. They're recovering, and we're seeing low fours again for FHA, VA. We're seeing high fours for conventional back on the table. A lot of people are getting low fives. And jumbo rates have just kind of been chill throughout this whole thing, just like hardly moving, which is interesting, but also makes sense. So anyway, really good stuff there as mortgage rates recovering, staying inside this beautiful channel that we've got here. There is overhead resistance, but we just keep skipping it. Inside this channel, we skip over the resistance. The resistance hasn't been a big deal, except for maybe at this inflection point where we had the confluence there between the channel and the resistance. That was the really only good short opportunity there if you were shorting bonds. Everything else has been super bullish. Buying opportunity. That's good. That's what we want to see, guys. So for mortgage rates, I continue to be extremely optimistic. People are asking me a lot, hey, what do you think rates will be by the end of the year? I still say lower than where we are right now. Where we are right now or lower. I really see lower. I really do. I think we're on the other side of inflation. I'll give you some evidence of that here in a second. This is actually from the Idaho Capital Sun. And the reason why this was interesting to me, we see some people talking about rent increases. Now, Idaho, particularly Boise, I had some people contact me from the Idaho area. And they're kind of saying the same thing. Hey, rents are out of control. We have to figure out how to buy something. And so that is confluence for two things. Number one, the fact that it is rents that do help perpetuate the real estate market. When rents are up, it's good for real estate. Right now, rents are way up and they're rising. That's all good for real estate. People forget about this. The exact opposite scenario existed before the crash, where rents were nothing. You could rent places for nothing. It was crazy. So record rent increases, low wages driving eviction crisis. The U.S. Senate panel was told this. And there's some interesting information here. If you want to check it out, you can get the quotes. I'm not going to go too much into it, but the bottom line is this. We are seeing a lot of rental increases. You're going to see that. I told you last year. You're going to see that this year, and you're going to see it even more next year. Because a lot of people this year weren't aware, and they're still on leases that were made during COVID and stuff. By next year, when those renewals come through, landlords are going to be aware. There's been enough news like this. In fact, I've had clients of mine, I've had people who watch the channel, so they did their research and like, my gosh, I'm way under renting my place. I'm so glad you brought this up. And I apologize to the tenants. But listen, it's only fair, right? It's only fair that a landlord gets fair market value for the rent. They're taking all the risk here. It's only fair. People have been reaching out to me saying, hey, yep, I'm going to raise rent. I'm going to raise rent. Yes, I've seen this. There's more in the news about it. Rents are going to go up. This year, a little bit, again, after 20% last year. Next year is the big year. Look for that to happen. Oil. This is a big part of, obviously what you see at the gas pump, but just a part of the feel for inflation for people comes from gas prices, comes from oil prices. And we're seeing a serious reduction right now in that. Like I said, that is recessionary. We are in a recession. That's recessionary, global recessionary data. And it does mean, though, that may cost less to fill up your tank. And it may mean that it may be a sign that inflation is easing. Good for mortgage rates. Good for real estate. May not be great for the world economy. The world economy may be in some trouble. But also don't think that's too terrible either. We'll get to some of that here in just a second. But it is important to note and pay attention to this. Look out for this. Because as gas prices come down, that does spark optimism. That's why the gas prices going up is such a bad thing politically. You see the establishment just desperately trying to stay away from it because it hits everybody. It hits everybody. It annoys everybody. I mean, especially if you go to these places that won't let you put more than $75 in your tank. If you have a Tahoe or something, you're not even getting a full tank. You got to leave. Go to a different gas station. How crazy is that? So that is, as much as it is a bad sign globally, locally, and for real estate, it's a good sign. Let's dive into this one. A couple people sent me this article. By the way, if you're a bear and you want to send me articles, please do it. Do it all the time. I love it. I love when bears send me articles. Weekly jobless claims rise to 260,000 ahead of non-farm payrolls report. That's going to be tomorrow. So you could see some action tomorrow based on that. Initial claims for unemployment insurance totaled 260,000 last week, in line with estimates. But truthfully, the estimates were less than that by 6,000. But 260,000 for the week. Expectations tomorrow for the non-farm payrolls report is 258,000. So I know a lot of people have been telling me like, hey, I really think that real estate, the thing with buyers right now, especially, is there just is not a lot of giddy up. And people say, okay, yep, I'm doing it. I want to pre-approve, blah, blah, and then they just kind of don't do anything. Everyone's kind of in this wait and see kind of mode. And that does cause like stalls in the market. Although I've seen, buyers are out there right now. A lot of buyers have come out of the woodwork the last week or so who have some motivation to them. And in fact, just snagged one from one of my buyers, unfortunately. But, so for people who say like, hey, the economy is going to get really bad and things like that. And I know these numbers aren't exact. I don't trust them that much either. But if we're down 260 and we're adding 260, pretty much flat. So we still haven't seen any indication from the employment side of things that there's a real problem here. And you should watch this. Rick Santelli is one of the most legit OGs out there at CNBC. Now, Bank of England, talk about conservative, but they increased, the sixth consecutive increase takes borrowing cost of 1.75%, which means they basically went from zero, a quarter at a time, up to 1.75. First half point, okay, so they did a half point on this one, since the bank was made independent from British government in 1997. Whoa, that's interesting. So they haven't done a half a point in that long, 27 years. Wow. The bank expects their headline inflation to peak in October. So pay attention to this, because it's not when we get back to the levels that everybody wants. It's when we start to head in that direction. When we get to the apex and then we start to head the other direction, that's when the trade flips. And that's when the data and the sentiment will flip on Wall Street for everything, particularly interest rates. And that's why looking at this chart makes me believe that it's over, and that the market was saying that it knew on this day, or maybe this day, that, you know what, we're on the other side of this thing now, and we're going to start marching the other direction. They said that they expect it to peak in October. So Bank of England expects inflation to peak in October. That's 2 months from now. Markets are usually trying to forecast out 6 months ahead. So if we peak in October, what does 6 months from now look like? And this doesn't mean that they'll be correct, but just looking at their estimates here, and to remain at elevated levels throughout much of next year before falling back to the target in 2025. Now, part of the reason that that is reasonable for them to expect is look at how slowly they're doing this, quarter at a time. They just did a half point hike, and that was the first in 27 years. Our Fed has already done 2 75 basis point hikes plus a half point hike. So if their inflation is going to peak in October and take until 2025, ours is probably going to be in a lot better shape than that, right? Because our Fed is being way more aggressive with the tightening, with the deflationary action, with the raising of the rates. And so we should be in pretty good shape in comparison to these guys, at least. That's for sure. So they're now expecting or project that the UK will enter recession from the fourth quarter of 2022, and that the recession will last 5 quarters. So they're expecting a pretty bad one. I mean, relatively speaking, not an easy, simple one over there. But I mean, with their very slow reactions here, it makes sense. And maybe that's better long term, you know, to not be constantly manipulating the market like the Fed is with ours. But this all makes sense. And it is a great barometer for us to figure out, well, when are we going to be topped out with inflation? When are we going to be able to finally be like, hey, inflation, we're done. Please. It's over. And I think it's sooner than most people realize. You can check this out. I just think these are interesting. How many headlines are coming out right now? This is why we may not be in a recession. We are in a recession, you dummies. So silly. Are we in a recession? Here are both sides of the argument. This website is bought and paid for. You guys know that. I've explained that to you. And they all are. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. They all are. I'm going to prove it to you one day. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to have something written. I'm going to pay for it. It's going to cost me a lot of money. And I'm going to pull it up on here and go, see, told you I could get it with enough money. I will do that. I am going to do that. IMF tells Europe to let consumers bear the brunt of higher bills to encourage energy saving. Well, this is sort of what I believe the idea is behind going ahead and just letting, gas prices go up, letting oil go crazy. It feels to me like that is a lot of what the mindset is. The mindset is, who cares if prices go up? That'll discourage people from using it. Who cares if, this happens? That'll get us the end goal that we're desiring. And I just brought this up because, the IMF is the International Monetary Fund, which is basically the central bank of the world. They are the ultimate gangsters of all gangsters. And they're like, yeah, let them pay the higher energy bills so they can encourage saving energy. Reminds me of the $800 bill I got from SDG&E last month. Look, my son loves air dancers. We run them a lot. We charge a car here. The AC's on. It's freezing in here all the time. That's no joke. And that's kind of what their thought process is. Let them pay the money. Screw it. We're not working for a cheap solution, trying to push an agenda. That's what's going on. It is what it is, but it doesn't mean that it's cool. Doesn't mean that it's fun. Doesn't mean I'm okay with it. But it is what it is. So here's what's happening. Let me just give you my 2 cents on where the San Diego market is at the moment and where the opportunity lies. Now, with regard to where the market is, we're in a consolidation period. Consolidation period just simply means the market is trying to find itself right now, meaning buyers and sellers are both trying to figure out what they can get away with. The market's changed. For multiple years, we kind of knew what the market was, and people either played by those rules and made things happen, or they didn't, and they didn't make things happen. Now it's changed, and both sides are trying to figure out where the boundary lines are and what the rules are. And so it's a little choppy. You're going to see some homes that have multiple offers. They sell super fast. You're going to see some homes that sit for a month or 2. They're overpriced. But this is the market that we're in. We're in a market of consolidation, which just means trying to figure it out. The new normal. What is it? That means there's opportunities out there, finally. Because when the boundaries and the rules and the understanding of the market was there, opportunities are harder to find in that situation. When you have a confused scenario, people are kind of looking around like, what's going on? Is this, or what's happening? Should I take that offer? Is that the best it's going to be? They don't know. It's not like it used to be. So it just means there's opportunity. My suggestion is, if you want to take advantage of that opportunity, as I do expect rates to go down, or at least stay at this level until the end of the year, maybe go down. I don't think they'll get worse. I don't. They could. Anything could happen, but I don't think so. Get yourself pre-approved. Be in a position to pull the trigger. Be in a position to take advantage. If you see opportunity, hawk this market. Hawk it. And what I mean by that is research it. Have eyes on it. Be pre-approved. Be in a position to take advantage. If you see something really good, go for it. If you see one and you go, you know what, that one would be great for this price, write the offer. Have your agent talk to the agent. Right now, a lot of agents making those calls saying, hey, do you have any offers? Nah, we got people threatening. We've had people through. No offers. The no offer situation is the best one. Best one for VA buyers, best one for FHA buyers, best one for down payment assistance buyers, best one for buyers who just want to get a deal. Is the market where there's homes out there that don't have offers. Some of these sellers won't budge. They're not going to sell their home. That's okay. Wish you weren't on the market, screwing up all the data, but what are we going to do? It's not like we can kick you out, or we would. Some people are just on the market. They're not in the market to sell. They're just on the market, kicking tires. And while that's okay, it doesn't help us understand what's going on. So what you have to really look at is what homes are providing price reductions. Oh, shoot, I was going to save that email. When I went through, by the way, here's my information. Want a loan quote, want to get pre-approved, want to make sure you're getting a good deal, want me to look at your loan estimate, send me an email, shoot me a call or a text. All above are okay. I am not busy. I'm not. I got plenty of time. I can help you out. I can hook you up. Okay. When I was doing the video on how to use Redfin to hawk the market, and I showed you that little pocket in El Cajon, and I made up a little search criteria. I'm still getting the emails from that pocket, and Redfin is telling me when there's price reductions. Redfin is telling me when there's open houses. Redfin is telling me all that stuff. So easy to do. And so I'm just getting all this data on the detached under 800K market in El Cajon, and it's so golden. Please do that. Go watch that video. If you want to learn how to research the market in your area or in San Diego, and you could basically just get all this information just launched into your inbox without even having to think about it, just by following those steps. And one of the things it's doing is it's sending me the price reductions. You can see some of the price reductions. People are going from like $675 to $669. They're not really reducing the price. They're just trying to recirculate. And that's okay. It is. But they're not really that serious. Some people are reducing from $675 to $625. That's a serious seller. That's a seller who is ready to get down. That's a seller who's like, you know what? Make me an offer, sir. I'm ready to go.
All we want to do is pump you up.
And so people are pulling the trigger on those deals. I'm telling you, and you also find out when they go in escrow, when it goes pending. So I'm seeing a lot of these, they're going pending right after the price reduction. The significant price reduction, not the minimal price reduction, but the significant price reductions are causing buyers to step in and go, okay, there we go. I'm in. By the way, we're live on all the platforms. I forgot to say that earlier. If you want to drop a comment, you can certainly do that. What's up, Nathan? If you want to ask a question, you can always do that too. I know all the comments and stuff are not populating in here, and I don't know how to figure that out. I don't know what else to do. So some platforms aren't coming in. I apologize for that, but drop your comments anyway. I'll always get back to you as soon as I can. So you're seeing that happen. Now that's a good sign that the market, there isn't that big of a distance between the bid and the ask. In other words, you know, what sellers are asking for and what buyers are willing to bid. We don't have this gigantic discrepancy. We do have a discrepancy though. And that discrepancy could be as much as 5 to 10%. As I expected, we might see prices drop 5-10%. But that's from like rocketing wild all-time highs, right? Of just crazy bananasness. And so, you know, we are coming off all-time highs, by the way. All-time high for median price in San Diego, all-time high in the country, all-time high in history. We're coming off of that. So when you do come off of an all-time high like that, usually, you know, you feel it a little bit. I think 5 to 10% is appropriate, assuming that I'm correct about this not being a crash and, you know, not really being anything more than a correction / consolidation, which is what it looks like. So some people are jumping in and grabbing those opportunities, and that watching that video is a great way to see those, because you can also set your search criteria up with your realtor these days and online to look for homes that have price reductions. So if you're the type of buyer who's like, look, a house is a house. I don't really care. I don't have this dream layout. I just want to get a deal. That might be the box that you can fish in. You know, fish in the price reduction box and look for the bigger price reductions. Hey, those people are getting serious. They want to sell. They realize they missed it on the first listing, and they're ready to redo it again and say, listen, we'll come back from this number and we'll put it down here. We want to play ball. Someone make us an offer, for God's sake. That's what they're saying. So there's opportunity to be found out there. I would love to help you find it. If you are a buyer in this market, a lot of refis are back on the table now. Give me a shout. Shoot me a call, text, email, whatever works for you. I'm here to help you personally make good decisions on this stuff. And we can help people. I have people licensed in my office in Idaho and Colorado and Florida and what am I forgetting? Washington. I'm always forgetting something. Georgia, maybe a few others. But so I can help you. If you're not in Southern California, I still might be able to help you. And if not, I can refer you to someone that can help. All right. You guys have an amazing day. I'm going to play some music on the way out. Why not, huh? Should we do that? Play a little music on the way out? Why not? Record rent increases. And people telling me every day, you know what? I'm going to rent. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go pay those record rent prices. Have a good night, team. Take care.